Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius. Today's the 20th of April, 2023. So, yep, welcome everyone, guys. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So yeah, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll disappear here from the little circle, let you have a read through the rest, and then we can continue. Okay, guys, so I hope you can see me and hear me well. Yesterday, had a bit of a moment where I forgot to switch on my mic, but hey, okay, look, things happen, but, as long as we learn from our mistakes. But, yeah, guys, look, we're going to have a look at the technical picture. I mean, we'll have a look at some of the instruments that I already looked at this yesterday, some new ones. But yeah, before we actually jump into all of that, just a quick kind of reminder of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. So, yep, easymarkets.com. You can check us out here, and I believe you can find some useful stuff. Now then, jumping into the charts, and the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So yeah, the Japanese index, look, we are still holding to this area. I talked about this yesterday. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, again, kind of in the same analysis is valid still. So basically what I said before, that look, maybe we're forming a nice possible rising wedge pattern, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the downside. However, a break of the lower side of the potential formation of this rising wedge would still be needed. So until we get a violation of this upside line, basically, we cannot really, get comfortable with the downside scenario. Now, in terms of the upside, I would say yes, there is still hope, there is still potential. However, a clearance is needed. So I need to see a push above that. Above that area here, the 28,733 and 793 zone here, somewhere around there, guys, in that 60-point range. If we clear that, we may attract a few more buyers into the game, and we could drift a little bit higher. But again, in terms of the upside, I will only be aiming for the upper side of this potential rising wedge. Okay, if we clear it, that's great. That's an extra bonus for us. But initially, like I said, I'll keep it modest, and yes, I will aim only for the upper side of the potential pattern here. But only, like I said, if we clear this highlighted zone, I need to see a clearance of that in order to go higher. For the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere below this 28,393 territory right here, and just for that extra confirmation, basically. So yeah, like I said, for now, I'm just observing the price action, although I'm cautiously bullish, but I'm also considering the fact that, look, we are near a very key important resistance area. That's the highest point of March, and we're currently, yes, we overshot it, but it was just a false breakout here. So we're kind of still getting a hold up. So that means that this area is proving to be quite a significant one, quite an important one. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now jumping into ASX 200. So similar analysis, the same analysis actually, the one that I've mentioned yesterday. So here, excuse me. Here we have a little range, I think, that because we're stuck in this little zone here, my highlighted zone. So until I get a clearance of one of the sides here, then yes, I'm not really doing anything with it. It's kind of in a way similar like with the DAX basically it was previously, but yeah, DAX now is doing a little bit better. But look, in ASX 200, it still has potential for some upside. Maybe we're seeing this as a little consolidation here, maybe just a temporary pause before a further move higher. Could be the case, yes. Maybe we're forming something of an ascending triangle, somebody might say. So let's say basically something like this, and we have our upper side here flat. So look, a nice little oh, why is this an arrow? Let me just adjust this, guys. Normal. There we go. So maybe this, like I said, maybe this could be seen as a nice ascending triangle pattern. And again, from the shorter term perspective, we could see some further upside. But again, I need to stress this a lot, and I'm stressing this always a lot, that a confirmation break is needed. And until I get that, and also again, don't forget about not like the false breakouts, because what I need to see, what I would like to see here is the body of the daily candle staying above this area, above the 7,400 zone. And if we get that, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with further upside. Now then, China 50 index, right? Okay, look, the PBoC came out today with an interest rate decision, and it kept the interest rate the same as previous, the 3.65. So basically, in a way, I would say the market should have reacted more positively to this. However, I think that, again, in my opinion, that the market kind of took it as a bit of a bearish kind of hint, because kind of like something like a scaring moment, because the rate has been kept for 8 months in a row, and the market might have considered that, hey, maybe the bank doesn't want to get way too aggressive, because again, the market is not, in general, the global market is not feeling very well. And maybe that we're having this fight with inflation, or let's say the Western world is having this fight with inflation, and yeah, and in a way, not to overcomplicate things, maybe the bank kept it the same, so to keep liquidity there, and maybe actually, like I said, the market in the Chinese market took it as a little bit of a bearish indication. So again, short term excuse me, short-term moment. Again, will that spill into something longer term, or actually is just a little maybe correction before another possible leg of buying? Because again, from the short-term perspective, we have this upside line right here. So in other words, maybe something like this here could be possible. So yeah, look, at this point, I would say it's not really something of an interest to me. I think this barrier here, I looked at it previously as a good one, this 13,419. I think it's time to actually readjust it, and I think it's not really something that I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to pick up on this high, the 13,522. Look, I'm just trying to be a little bit more careful, and if something stops working for me, I just kind of redraw it and just have a different approach. Look, maybe some of you might say, but hey, Darius, maybe this is a nice rising channel. You could not be more correct here, because again, this could be one. Will that be respected? Well, time will tell. But at this point, look, if you want to consider this as a rising channel, great. It's no harm there. The only problem that I have right now is that the index basically is just oscillating around these EMAs, the 50, the 100, the 200, and yeah, it's not really like, it's a no man's game at the moment. So that's why I'm just, like I said, at the moment, I'm going to stick to maybe this rising channel. I'm going to keep an eye on this little hurdle here, the 13,096, which is near the lower side of the rising channel. If we rebound from here, then yes, great. I will go towards the upper side, or initially, of course, I'll go towards the 13,522 territory right here. Or then towards the upper side of the rising channel. Of course, the other scenarios here, if we clear this pattern, this barrier here, maybe this, you know, first of all, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and maybe it'll ignore the whole rising channel idea, and maybe just clear the upper side of it, and you know, and then just kind of go further north, so towards the 13,838. This is my next target, and we'll see how we play out around there. But of course, again, if we do slide all the way here towards this 13,096, well, keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on the lower side of the rising channel. If we start breaking it and we start falling below the area here, somewhere below that, maybe 13,000 territory. Let me just put this one. Yeah, somewhere around here. If we fall below the 13,000 mark, why is this like that? Just a second. There we go. There we go. So if we fall below the 13,000 mark, then yes, this may attract a few more sellers into the game, guys, and we could see something like this happening. Of course, initially, we would be aiming for the 12,821, but then maybe it'll clear it, and a forthcoming lower low would be confirmed, and yes, it could open the door towards some lower levels. But again, too early for that. For now, we're just observing the price action. Let's see how this is going to play out. Now, the German index will be a little bit later. Dow. Look, basically yesterday Dow was the kind of the worst performer. It did decline, yes. I mean, we saw some weakness kicking in. Technological Nasdaq was actually the gainer, if we can call it that way, 0.03%. Well, every little helps, right? I mean, S&P remained kind of flat, minus 0.01%, but the Dow was 0.023, so kind of the, like I said, the weakest of them all, from the top three, from the three of them. But what I'm trying to say here is that, look, at the moment, I think that yes, we will just you can see from the technical perspective. I mean, it seems like we're gonna continue moving sideways here, and look, we are still about like 2 weeks, a little bit less than 2 weeks away from the Fed decision. We don't have much economic data this week. Well, okay, we do have the initial and continuous jobless claims coming out. We have the Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index coming out today, so you can keep that in mind. But in a way, and tomorrow, I think that there's not much happening. Let me just quickly double check that. Yeah, I think that tomorrow, Friday, is a little bit on the cautious side in the US. Yeah, we only have the preliminary services PMI, but that's not going to end the preliminary manufacturing PMIs. I don't think that is going to happen. So basically, don't be surprised if we have this index moving just sideways for today and tomorrow. Next week, yes, we will have maybe something a little bit more interesting. I haven't really looked at too much into the calendar, but in the US, CB consumer confidence coming out. Yes, core durable goods on Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday. Yes. Thursday we don't have GDP coming out. Yeah, there we go. GDPs, US GDPs are coming out on Thursday, and on Friday in the US, we do get the core PCE. Okay, that's gonna be that's gonna be very interesting. So basically, what I'm saying here is that next week is probably the more exciting one. This week, maybe for you to kind of keep it calm, analyze the market, see what's happening, and prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for next week. Just bear with me. Okay, there we go. There we go. I need to start the motor running. Get the motor running. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, apologies guys for that. So, okay. Long story short, from the technical perspective, Dow Jones, looking at the breakouts here. For the downside, what I'm looking at, the 33,878. For the upside, I'm looking at the 34,282, and then we'll take it from there. So if we get one of the clearances there, then yes, I'll consider the next short-term directional move. The S&P 500, guys. So yeah, similar story. Look, in general, what I want to do here is actually remove all the drawings. I will put some of the lines back, of course, but one thing I want to re-look at this because again, it's also flat. It has been flat for the past few trading sessions, and of course we're waiting for that bigger move or something like that. But it seems like if everything stays the same as it is right now, so I mean this week could be just dead. And yeah, look, we have a strong barrier here, the 4,208 zone here. If we clear that one, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we potentially could start targeting that 4,327. And that's going to be the upside scenario. Now, if you're looking for something from around here, I would say be cautious a little bit, because again, this could be a little bit of a no man's game and just kind of could be flat a little. Look, I really am tempted to draw a rising channel here. Let me just grab one of these something around these lines, but the only thing is that it's kind of actually pushing me away from that, because maybe it's more of a rising veg pattern or something like that. But hey, look, I'm going to keep this for now. I'm going to put this like this, if I may. Just a second. Let me just grab one of these. So something like that. Yeah, not very picturesque here, but hey. Let me just put this, there we go. So something like this. So basically, maybe we have ourselves a nice little rising channel here from the shorter term perspective. Now, again, as long as the price remains within the channel, of course, the trend is to the upside. However, if we start examining the downside, well, for me, the downside probably in this case, I would probably start looking at it from somewhere around here, the 4,096 territory, approximately around there. Because again, if we do drop below that, we would also drop below the, if I'm not mistaken, is that the, yep, the lowest point of April. So if we do fall below the 4,096 territory, that's the lowest point of April. I get it. It's a huge territory to miss out. So for the shorter term traders, maybe, keeping an eye on some of these recent lows. For example, this one, the 4,151, might do the trick here. We could drift lower, but then, of course, keep your eyes on this rising channel pattern, or should I say the lower side of it, because if it holds, we could see a rebound and a push back up. So in other words, if we do fall below that 4,151 territory, something, and if we travel lower, but then we find support near this lower side of the rising channel, then yes, a nice little rebound here might be possible. However, if we start breaking it, that's where, yes, more sellers could join in. The German index, DAX, yeah, so looking at this one, look, in general, one of my targets got reached, the psychological 16,000 mark, so that's great. What I talked about previously, I said that if we continue to trade above this 15,891, I am aiming for that 16,000. Tick, tick. Reach that. But my ideal scenario, of course, is in the area between the 16,274, 294. So in this little range. Why? Because these mark the highest point of January of 2022 and November of 2021 respectively. So yeah, very strong area of resistance, good potential target as long as we stay above the 15,891. So basically what I'm saying is that I'm considering even a little bit of a retracement here. If we do fall below this, yes, okay, we could, there still could be a chance for the bulls to step in, but I will take a little bit of a cautious approach in this area. However, we start dropping below the highlighted zone, my highlighted zone right here, which is in between the, or should I say around the 15,700 territory, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with some lower levels, and then I'm going to aim for the 50-day EMA, and then so on and so on. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now then, guys, yeah, I hope you can hear me and see me well, because I think there's, I think everything's fine. Hopefully everything's fine. But yeah, quick, yeah, just a quick shout out. I mean, if you can, if you can hear me and see me, because again, I have been struggling here recently after my break with my technology. So yeah, I hope everything's going well. Now then, the dollar index, guys, the dollar index, very interesting one here. And what I said to you previously, that look, I'm still waiting for this one to make a move, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because, again, if we do break the downside line here and push above the 102.06 territory, then yes, that's great. I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. I'm going to aim for that 50-day EMA or even the 100-day EMA or even the 200-day EMA. But again, let's go slowly, gradually on this. Let's not rush into anything, and then we'll take it from there. For the downside, 101.09 territory is the one that I'm keeping an eye on. If we fall below it, I will consider some moves to the downside. Jumping into gold. Guys, just bear with me. Let me check something if everything's working okay here. Yes, okay, look, everything seems to be working fine, so hopefully you can hear me and see me well. Now then, jumping into gold, as I said, look, it is working out perfectly. For now, it's just a gem. It's just a gem. Basically what I was saying yesterday. Look, I said if we fall below the 1990 territory, well, I'll start aiming for the lower side of the rising channel. We did test that. We even slightly kind of pushed through it, but that's fine. We rebounded back up and we traveled back above the 1990 territory and we stayed above it. So basically, this idea worked out in just one day. So that's great. That's fantastic. That's happening. That happens whenever it happens. It's very, very interesting. And yeah, look, at this point, I would say I am kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside still. So as long as we stay above that 1990 territory, yes, I am kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside. Because again, this was my barrier, but I'm going to get more comfortable with the upside. I'll start looking at some higher levels if we do push back above this 2003 territory. So for now, long story short, I am leaning towards the upside, but just for that extra precaution, a confirmation break above the 2003 territory is needed. So let's see how that's going to play out, guys. If we do fall back below the 1990 zone, yes, once again, I'm going to consider a possible move towards the lower side of the rising channel, and then yeah, we will take it from there basically. So of course, more buyers could join in here if we do push above the 2015 territory. Yep, that's going to be a little bit more attractive maybe, and we could start aiming for the upper side of the rising channel. For now, like I said, that's the game plan. Let's see how this is going to play out. Silver, jumping into silver. Silver is also looking quite attractive because, look, I mean, I talked about this and I said as long as we stay above this upside line, I'm going to remain bullish. Maybe a little bit more cautiously bullish, but still bullish. But I said to you that if we do drop and stay below the highlighted zone right here, which is roughly between the 24.63 and 73 levels, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with the downside. And look at this. Yesterday we had a bit of a tease here, and yes, it provided fantastic support, and we rebounded and pushed higher. Look, of course, some of you might say, but hey, Darius, maybe this is beginning of a formation of maybe something like a head and shoulders pattern. Hey, look, you're not going to be wrong there. It could be the case, but that's why, for example, I have my scenario right now here from a rebound. Yes, a little bit more to the upside. Then I'll be very cautious around that 25.50 territory, or maybe slightly above it. But if we start clearing that 25.75 territory right there, just to remind you, that's the inside swing low of the 18th of April of 2022. If we clear that one, then yes, I'll go higher. Ideally, my target is the 26.22, but of course, I need to mark the. Let me grab one of these lines. Mark the current highest point of April near the 26.05 territory, and then yeah, we will go from there. So long story short, for now, I'm leaning towards the upside, but again, keep your eyes on that 25.50 territory, maybe slightly above it, and then we'll take it from there, guys. Now, Palladium, this is something that I don't look at very often, but I mean, we do offer that on our platform, so you can always, you can always trade that on our easy. You can find that instrument on our Easy Markets platform. So yeah, like I said, this is just an interesting one. I do like to look at these exotics sometimes. Normally, like I'll leave it for Friday, but hey, it's kind of I wouldn't say like Friday right now, but let's pick up on that one right now. But look, in general, Palladium, look, this is quite an important metal. I mean, used in technology a lot, in medicine. So in general, it has been on a decline. Look, I mean, after we've peaked here back in what, February? No, March, beginning of March of 2022. We peaked here near the 3,448 territory, and we slid to the downside. Yes, and we slid lower, and we dropped heavily, and we managed to reach an area around here near the 1347 level from where we found support. We started pushing back up, and now we're forming higher lows and higher highs. In a way, I'm getting a little bit more bullish on this one. If we start applying just technical analysis on this, I mean, you'll see that, hey, great, we've broken some nice trend lines here. And for example, one of my best theories that I look at all the time is that, for example, whenever we break a, let's say in this case, a downside line, we kind of revisit it from the other side, and this is what we did. It acted as a nice little trampoline, and we pushed higher, and we cleared the barrier, this one right here. So approximately around that 1543 zone, approximately around here, guys. Maybe even the 1540, something like that. So we cleared this territory, and look at this. I mean, now when you're starting to put a little bit more, a few more lines here, it kind of becomes a little bit more clear here, more technical. And look, in a way, we could have formed, I think, like something like an ascending triangle pattern, and there we go. We're now pushing nicely to the upside. We cleared the 100-day EMA. We're still trading above it. Yesterday we did saw a little decline, a little correction, but the 100-day EMA provided fantastic support, and which means that, hey, maybe still, if it continues to trade somewhere above that 1540 zone, I'm gonna remain bullish on this one, and I'm gonna target that 200-day EMA, and then we will take it from there. The 200-day EMA on my chart is roughly near the 1723-24 zone, approximately around here, guys. And then, yeah, for the downside, I need to see a drop back below the highlighted zone right here, and then we will start considering maybe some lower levels. Now, jumping into oil, guys, look at this beautiful move. Boom. Look, I talked about this yesterday, and I said keep your eyes on this, and I said to you that I'm leaning a little bit more towards the downside. In general, I'm bearish on oil, but a confirmation break is needed. I got one. I got my confirmation break. The question now here is, won't the 150-day EMA provide support? Well, let's wait and see. For now, I'm leaning towards the downside. I will remain. I'm gonna continue keeping an eye on that 79 territory, because this is what I said. If we do drop and stay below the 79 territory, I'm leaning towards the downside. And my next target will be this, of course, the 100 and the 50-day EMA. But then if we clear those two, my next target is this upside line, which got violated previously, but hey, I'm going to keep it for now. I want to see if it's going to get tested again or not. This upside line is taken from the low of the 9th of December of 2022. For the upside, look, a very conservative approach here. I need to see this one pushing back above this territory. This upside line, to be honest, I think they're no longer needed. So I need to see a push back above this highlighted zone right here, and then, yeah, I'll get comfortable. At least back above the 200-day EMA right here, and then we'll try to figure out something, but ideally push back above this highlighted territory right here. Okay, Bitcoin, the crypto world. So yeah, some of you were probably not very happy about this because, again, all the crypto bulls probably got yeah, shocked a little bit by the move. Look, the news came out that we saw a lot of liquidations in the crypto assets among few kind of 1,000 traders, almost getting closer to around 100,000 traders. So yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check. According to one source, that there was like around closer to 200, around 90 million in 24 hours. That's how much liquidated. It was like $200 million worth of crypto was liquidated. So I mean, traders got spooked. It seems like that traders got spooked by the decline in Bitcoin, that it fell back below the 30,000. I mean, look, okay, this is the market. Maybe it's not logical. Maybe, you know, maybe there are some other reasons. However, it's difficult to kind of, you know, find any other reason. But if that's the case, then of course, look, it's you know, the market is follow the herd. You know, it's a big kind of field of you know, of us sheep who follow the trend. And you know, if something spooks us, we just call all run away, you know, very quickly. So we have to admit, you know, although we don't like to call us ourselves like that, but unfortunately, when it comes to market, we tend to stick to the herd, and you know, we just kind of think that it might be safer. So, and this is what you get. If you know, one big player starts liquidating, you know, there's another one who's a little bit smaller follows, and then another one, and another one, and then this is what you get. Bitcoin maybe wasn't the big problem here. For example, okay, look, from the technical perspective, it drifted lower. It's now currently resting on this short-term upside support line taken from the low the 27th of March. If we continue to trade above it, then there is a chance for this one to move back up. But probably I'll get a little bit more excited if we push back above the psychological 30 zone, the 30,000 zone. And then, yeah, I'll get a little bit more comfortable with further upside if we do clear the current highest point of April near the 31,045 territory. Okay, but look, again, for now, it's a tricky one. So I would say this way: if we do drop eventually again below the upside line and stay below that, I'm leaning towards the downside, and I'm going to be aiming for that 50-day EMA right here. Probably could approach, you know, my arrow ending here somewhere, and then we'll take it from there. So that's going to be my game plan for Bitcoin. Litecoin, by the way, Litecoin, look, took a bigger hit. And we saw a huge decline here. Look at this. I mean, yesterday I talked about it and I said, as long as we stay, you know, above the 98.33 territory, I'm leaning towards the upside. Even if we do drop a little bit lower and stay above the 94.75, there is still hope that, you know, something maybe like this could happen. But there we go. Look, what I said to you yesterday, that if we fall back below the 94.75 territory, I will go a little bit lower, and my next target will be in the 88.54. Boom. Boom. Perfect hit, perfect touch. Fantastic. Happy. I'm very, very happy. What's next? Well, this is where I'm going to say that if we do fall below the 88.54 territory, I am leaning further south. And at the same time, we might also drop below the 100-day EMA, and the next target could be the 200-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. So, for example, long story short, if you want to go to the upside, I would say I need to see a push back above the 94.75. If we get that, great, I'll start considering the upside scenario. For now, if we start ranging again, or so to say, moving sideways again in this previous range, again, although it's no longer valid, but I'm gonna keep it on the chart anyway, because again, so far it seems to be that the levels here are working. So if we stay in here, I'm just observing the price action, guys. Dogecoin. So yeah, we got a bit of a move here. Look, in general, everything's kind of working out nicely here as well. What I talked about previously, I said that if we continue to trade above this upper side of the, or sorry, not the upper side, but the upside line and the above all of the EMAs, and yes, look, this idea of a curve could happen. It happened. Okay, maybe it didn't really go back to all the way to the 0.10 territory, but hey, it's still okay, you know, it still could happen. So let's see how this is going to play out. For now, look, as long as we stay above this upside line, then there is still hope that we could see some more upside here. So let's keep an eye on that one. But yeah, if we do fall below the upside line here, below the 0.0834, well, actually approximately 0.8 zone, 0.08 territory. If we fall somewhere below that, that's where I'm going to get a little bit more comfortable with the downside. Of course, I'm going to start looking at some lower levels already. If we break the upside line here and we fall below the EMAs here, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with lower levels. But if we get a drop below this hurdle, I'll get a little bit more excited with the downside. Jumping into Forex very quickly, my favorite AUDNZD. So look, I talked about this previously, and honestly, I've expressed my love to this pair a lot already, and well, and I'm going to continue doing so. Look. My arrows, the chart has shifted a little bit beyond my arrows here, so it's still kind of okay. This idea is working out. I said to you that if we push back above the 1.0785 territory right here, I'm going to aim for the upside, and I'm going to aim for these downside lines. So far, everything is working out nicely. What's next? Basically, this is where I'm going to take a cautious approach, and I'm just going to observe this one, and I'm going to observe the price action, and I need to see a break of this downside line taken from the high of the 28th of September of 2022. If we get a nice break through that, yes, I'll get more excited with higher levels. A few adjustments have to be made here, I think. Just bear with me one moment. So this territory here, I think I'm going to recycle this line. Always recycle, guys. There's a hidden message for you. 1.1088 zone, that could be a nice good target later on, but again, for a break of this downside line is still needed. For the downside, okay, first of all, need to remove this, although it's still kind of okay, we could still keep it, but let's not overcomplicate things. Let's remove the highlighted zone, and now I'm gonna stick to some of the key levels here that I'm gonna just a second. Let me just clear up the chart a little bit from all the lines here, so that it wouldn't be in the way. So look, for the downside, I would say if you wanna aim lower, then a break of this upside line is needed. But again, look, even if we break the upside line, probably ideal scenario is to wait for a drop below all of the EMAs. Like, for example, a drop below the 50-day EMA could do the trick for a few more sellers, and then we could, take it from there. We could move towards the 1.07 territory, somewhere around here. Actually, let me just mark that for now. Let me just grab this line. And yeah, so the 1.07 territory could be a nice good target, and if cleared that one, then we could go lower. But again, a break of this upside line and drop somewhere below the 50-day EMA would be needed. So far, we are moving to the upside. Let's see if we can clear the downside line. If we can do that, great. I will lean a little bit more to the upside. AUDJPY. So looking at this one, look, I talked about this, and so far we're still trading above this 90.23 territory. I talked about this one. So okay, so far so good. If we want to go higher, the similar story as with AUDNZD, I'm going to take a bit of a careful approach here. I'm going to leave it at this point. I'm just going to observe the price action. But if it starts breaking the downside line here, taken from the high of the 13th of September of 2022, and we push above the 200-day EMA as well, that's going to be my cue for more higher levels. Look, we might travel a little bit more to the upside. Maybe we'll find resistance somewhere around here, and then reverse back down near maybe this 92.22 territory, somewhere around here, and then maybe we'll reverse back down. So probably, yes, let's put the arrow a little bit here. If it goes further north, great, okay, wonderful, we'll relook at that. We'll examine the higher levels, but at this point, let's keep it short and simple. But again, for the upside, I will allow this pair to trade around here somewhere. I'm just going to observe it, but once it starts breaking, if it starts breaking the downside line and pushes above the 200-day EMA, that's going to be where this is where I'm going to get a little bit more excited with higher levels. NZDJPY. So also haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but look, overall, before I start drawing any lines here, overall we are kind of ranging, I would say, from around what, March of last year, yeah, it's kind of, it's oscillating around the EMAs, so without any clear trend, like for example in the past here. So yeah, for about a year we have been ranging roughly. So the range again, somewhere maybe in between these levels here. Let me just put this on the chart. Like, yeah, I'll mark these tops here. So something like that. Again, it's not really ideal, but from the shorter term perspective, there is a potential here for some upside because, again, we have a key important barrier here together with the 200-day EMA, which kind of is providing, yeah, good resistance. So in general, this 200-day EMA together with this territory right here, let me probably highlight that for our future reference. So all this is providing fantastic resistance so far. In order to go higher and to aim maybe for the highest point of March of this year, near the 85.25 level, yes, we need to see a clear push through this barrier, and then we could take it from there. For the downside, probably the option here is to wait for a drop below the 82.14 level, somewhere around here. Why? Because again, maybe this could end up being something of a range. So for example, if it moves away from the EMAs here, maybe we could see a drift lower towards this territory, 82.14, a test of it. And if it provides good support, maybe a rebound back up could be possible. So basically, in other words, a range here could be possible later on. But again, that's not confirmed, so we need to kind of be careful for now. I can see in the chat room there, Trade Intuition smashed the rocket ship. Really like to understand what you're referring to, but yeah, maybe because maybe you've posted the comment, maybe I was talking about some other stuff before. Maybe there's a little bit of a delay there. Actually, I've noticed that sometimes there is a little bit of a delay, so the comments don't come through straight away, immediately. So yeah, sorry for that. But yeah, look, going back to the charts, USDCNH, the Chinese offshore yuan, guys. So look, I picked up on this one previously. You can see by the lines here, and I'm still gonna stick to the game plan because again, I talked about this scenario, and so far it seems to be working out. Now, in order for me to go higher, I need to see a clearance of this 6.91 territory. However, I think that the like button for it's the like button for okay, so it's the like button for TradingView. Yeah, you're referring to that one. Okay, got it. Okay. If that was you, thank you very much. If that was you, thank you very much for that. So really appreciate that. Really helps, honestly. So coming back to the this pair. Look, maybe you don't trade it very often, but in general, it's good to look at from the economic perspective. So far, I mean, we can see that the pair is stable and it's kind of just oscillating around the EMAs. But at the same time, maybe somebody might say that, hey, maybe we're getting into a bit of a squeeze. Now, you could not be wrong there because basically we have ourselves a potential ascending triangle forming here. Again, not a very attractive one, not a very let's say textbook perfect, but still something like that forming. According to all the textbooks, TA textbooks, these tend to break to the upside. However, we have seen this happening in the opposite way, so that's why I always say to you, wait for a breakout. So at this point, look, I'm waiting for this one to do something. If so yeah, and basically for now, I need to see a drop below this upside line in order to consider a move lower. Until I get that, I'm not really like doing anything here. I'm just observing the price action, and yeah. For the upside, it needs to push above that 6.91 zone, and then we'll take it from there. Now, there's another scenario which I want to run by you because again, for now, because the yuan is kind of really tied to it has how to explain this more correctly. it's very tight. I mean, the Chinese government is keeping a tight kind of lock on the on the yuan, which on one side is good because it's kind of helping their economy. On the other side, on the other side, it's not like allowing it to flow freely, but to represent the kind of the true picture. However, again, it's a subject of debate because again, which one's better? Somebody might say, oh, it's like that's wrong, and the other one say, oh, that's wrong. So there is actually no right answer. I think that we have to go from at that point, what's working. If it's working, great. If it stops working, you start adjusting it. So and I think that also because China wants to be seen nowadays as not only like a kind of a cheap exporter of goods and services, but also like a stable economy, and where and I think that the goal here is to increase transactions in yuan, like oil transactions and gas transactions in yuan. So some sort of stability in the currency is needed. So maybe this is where it's coming from. So don't be surprised, for example, if we break the upside line here, but then we continue to range and we continue to move sideways. So that's why maybe kind of, let's say we could start looking at some lower levels, maybe from a drop somewhere below this territory. Let me just put this below the 6.88 territory, somewhere around here. Look, could be the case, could be a nice line to watch. So something like that. So let's see how this is going to play further, but for now it is how it is. Sorry, trade intuition, always showing support. The rocket ship is free and I like the. Thank you very much for the comment. Thank you very much for I'm happy that you like the content. So look, it's a simple kind of, I try to keep it simple, as a simplistic approach to trading, and I'm a trader myself, so I kind of try to look at the markets the way I would. Oh, my microphone touched my microphone. I like to look at the markets, as I do. I mean, and just kind of, if you find it useful, great. I mean, there are so many traders out there. Everybody has an opinion. Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that I'm more right than somebody else. No, or somebody else is more right than me. No, it's a matter of opinion. It's everything's subjective in a way. So we're here just to trying to find some common sense in the market. Sometimes it's difficult, but hey, we're trying to do our best. So this is my job here as well. I'm just trying to kind of give you these different scenarios, but actually you make your own decisions, guys. You do whatever you're comfortable with, and but anyway, look, coming back to the markets, USD Mexican peso. Look, I talked about this previously. For now, it seems to be declining, yes, but I said to you before that 1789 territory somewhere, or 1790 zone, that's what I'm looking at for some further downside. At the moment, everything's kind of pointing to that, but look, I just wanted to show you this, that okay, the information that I have here on my chart, basically we have not been at these levels since what, 2018. I mean, that's that's quite interesting. So this is showing weakness of the dollar and how the Mexican economy is actually kind of doing, I think, a good job in a way, performing quite well. But let's see, of course, how this is going to play out. For now, I'm going to go approach this from the technical perspective. Basically, if we do drop below that 1790 territory, 17.90, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with the downside, because a forthcoming lower low would be confirmed. USDJPY, let's jump into the charts before I run out of time, guys. I think I need to kind of speed up the process here. Look, mission accomplished here. What I talked about previously, I said that if we do push and stay above this barrier here, the 134.13, I will aim for the other target here, the 135.11, 26, something like that. This zone reached that. Mission accomplished. Great. What's next? Well, next is this. So in order to go further north, I need to see a push above this highlighted zone right here. So far, so good. For the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere back below the 134.13 territory right here, and then I'll take it from there. So simple as that. I'm not going to invent something really crazy here or look at it from a more difficult perspective. In general, if you remember, I talked about this previously. I said to you, look, we're kind of forming a possible ascending triangle, which could break to the upside. And also at the same time, we were forming something like a, a possible double bottom pattern, which, according to all the tier rules, tends to break to the upside. But a break of a neckline is needed, which we broke. So, all good. And also, it was kind of also seen as a range, so the upper side of the range. So a lot of confirmation here, and so far is working out. So now, next step is to see if we can actually push further north. Let's see if we can clear this barrier. If we can, great, I'll go to the upside. As long as we stay here somewhere, I'm just taking a neutral approach and just observing the price action. USDCAD, just a quick update. So far, so good. Look, I talked about this, and I said that if we push and stay above the 200-day EMA here, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the upside, maybe even aiming for that 100 and the 50-day EMA. I'm going to still stick to that rule as long as we stay above the 200-day EMA. So in other words, something like this still could be possible. So if we stay above it, I will continue aiming to the upside. So if you want a little bit more maybe confirmation here or something like that, maybe just keep an eye on the current highest point of today near the 1.3474. If we clear that, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high. For the downside, I need to see not this one, but a drop below this highlighted territory. If we do get that, at the same time, we would fall below the 200-day EMA, and maybe also we would fall actually below this upside line. So a tentative one, but nevertheless an upside line. GBPNZD. So yeah, perfect. Look, okay, great. I cannot express my excitement here. I talked about this, and I said to you guys, keep your eyes on this downside line taken from the high of the 3rd of February 2022. I have been talking about this for 2 weeks, around 2 weeks, and I said that, hey, if this provides good resistance, maybe a bit of a retracement here like this could be possible. So far, it is doing that. So yes, we did get a little bit of a breakout, but that's fine. That's like kind of like false breakout, so it's okay. Now let's see if this can continue to hold. If it does, I'm going to lean towards the downside, towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of February. For now, yes, I'm keeping an eye on this one. If it holds, great. More selling could come in. Gotta run. See you, trade intuition. Yes, yeah, hope you found this useful. Thank you very much for everything. So basically, look, for the upside, thank you very much for the great show. Thank you very much. For the upside, look, I need to see a push, a nice good push, a stronger push above this downside line. And okay, look, some of you might say, but hey, we already got that push. That's fine, that's great, but we need to see the body of the daily candle staying above this. If we can stay above this, I will go a little bit more to the upside, initially aiming for that psychological 2. Actually, well, the psychological 2 was tested already today, but if we push above that, I'll go towards that 2.03 territory initially, which is the highest point of October of last year, and then we could go further north. But that's in terms of the upside. EURJPY, guys. So far so good. Look, I mean, I talked about this. As long as we stay above this upside line and above the 146.74 territory, I'll go further north. 148.40 is my next target. That's the highest point of October of 2022. For the downside, I need to see a drop below this 146.74 territory. Previously, I looked at it as a good area of resistance. Now it could take the role of support. If it gets broken, then yes, I will lean a little bit more towards the downside. GBP. Okay, look, my second least favorite pair, but I still look at it. And look, I mean, I talked about this previously, and what I said to you, I said that if we push above all of the EMAs here, I'm just going to aim for this downside line. Tick, boom, touched. Fantastic. I mean, now what? Well, if we do clear the downside line, I will go higher. Simple as that. Of course, there are some, it's not everything maybe sometimes as easy as it sounds, but so far this 0.8865 territory or 0.8866 territory is providing good resistance. So if it does provide good resistance, and for the second time already, then maybe that's a good level to watch. So if you're looking for some higher levels, then maybe, yeah, wait for a clearance of this area. If we do get that, then yes, my next target is the 0.8925. For the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere, actually not this level anymore. I think I need to readjust this. I think I need to push this one. There we go, 0.8792. if we do drop below this, we would also drop below the 100-day EMA, and my next target could be this 200-day EMA. So very simple. And look, because this pair has a mind of its own, that's why I just tried to have a very, very simple approach to it, and so far it seems to be working. Look, I previously said if we get a hold up near this 200-day EMA, we'll rebound. I'll aim to the 100-day EMA, maybe even the 50. We got that. We cleared it, and I said if we clear the 50, I'll aim for the downside line. We got that. And I said if the downside line holds, we may see a bit of a retracement. We got that. And now the question is, can we see a drop back below the 100-day EMA? Well, I'm gonna, if we don't get that, okay, great. I'm keeping an eye on this barrier then. All this area right here, I'm just observing the price action. EURUSD. Yesterday we had a bit of a decline here, but still remained within the. Look, I've redrawn it yesterday. If you remember, I've redrawn it from the rising wedge pattern to a rising channel. I think I need to. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna pick up the more beautiful lines here. So something like this. Okay. So basically, for now, it's like I said, it's a nice picture here forming. Basically, for now, I said to you, if I want to go higher, I need to see a push above this barrier, the 1.09, maybe 83, something like that, 83, 84. I talked about this, and I said to you, look, this was quite an important level, I think on the monthly, or was it? No, it was on the daily. So yesterday I talked about this, and I also talked about the 15-minute chart yesterday, if you remember. Look, I said to you that if we do drop below this, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards lower levels, and we did get that. Then we climbed back, we traveled back inside the channel here, the range, and now of course it's no longer valid. But look, still some of the levels are still valid, and on my daily chart, I can see clearly this 1.0984 could be a nice good area right here. If we clear it, I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. So simple as that, guys. So basically, long story short, this is what I'm gonna mark here for our future reference. So let me just grab this one, and yep, that's my target for the upside if we clear that. And in general, the formation, what I'm seeing right now here is actually quite bullish, and actually I can see gold is popping to the upside. Okay, so the 1990 level is holding, so as we speak. So let's see if the 2003 territory gets violated. If it can get violated, great. We could go, to the upside, and we could also see euro dollar here pushing nicely higher. But again, a confirmation break is needed. I cannot stress that enough, because again, maybe it's gonna, flirt with this level, just hit it again, and then drift back down towards the lower side of the rising channel. And for that, I have, from the short-term perspective, for that I have this level, the 1.0950. If we fall below it, I'm gonna lean a little bit more towards the downside. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, or I should say not likes, but rockets. I appreciate your rockets, your comments, everything. Guys, thank you very much for that. Really means a lot to me. If you found it useful, great. Join me tomorrow morning, as always, at 6 o'clock GMT time, where we're going to pick up on some of these instruments, some new ones, and then we'll take it from there. So be careful, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, guys, and bye-bye. Hey there, thank you very much for watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. So like this video, we speculate your next mouse movement will be towards the subscribe button.